All right, everybody. And on we go. We had a little break to watch that video, the Bill Nye video, and answer the question that was in Google Classroom about the video. Make sure that you did that. Now we're going to move on, and I have another video for you to watch. This one I'm not going to say much about in the beginning because I want you to watch it with an open mind. And then there's another question to answer. The question is, explain the connection between Newton's first law and what you see here. That's what I'm going to say. So watch it, asking yourself the question, what does this have to do with Newton's first law? It's a short little video. It's less than 2 minutes, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So live students, I'm going to screen share. The rest of you, we're going to pause the video. I want you to go and watch that video on your own, and then come back to this one. Okay, it's in Google Classroom. It's listed in Google Classroom. I'm going to show you where it is. Here we go. I'm screen sharing again. So, share my screen with you. Back to Google Classroom. Right here, day 2. Watch the video and answer the question. Explain the connection between Newton's first law and what you see here. Here we go, everybody. Watching? Great. All right, guys. So, what did you see? It's the big question. What did you see just now? And what did that have to do with physics? Now, if you're watching this live, you have not yet had a chance to answer your question probably. I came back real fast after screen sharing. But if you're not watching live, hopefully you've already answered that question. For those of you who are watching live, let's talk about it. I want to know, so you should be chatting, what you just saw happen. Capri, what do we see?
Barbara said people, Amy said guys, and...
All right, you did see some people, you did see some guys, but they did something. And what I want to know is what they did and what that has to do with Newton's first law of physics. So, again, tell me what they did, what happened to the plates, and what that has to do with Newton's first law of physics. Let's try.
Barbara said they pulled the sheets off the table.
That's right. They pulled the tablecloth off the table, right? First, a guy did it himself, and then they pulled a really big sheet using a motorcycle, which looked pretty cool. And they did not break. They stayed on the table. Did you see that happen? Pulled the sheet real fast, and the plate stayed on the table. That, my friends, is the law of inertia. That's the law we've been talking about. They exerted a force of motion, right? And they pulled the tablecloth real quick. But it happened fast enough that the objects at rest on the table, that is to say, all those plates and cups, stayed at rest. They stayed on the table. Now, if you didn't see that happen, go ahead and watch that video one more time on your own. And then I want you to type in the answer if you have not already done so. So we're going to pause this video again so you have a moment to do that. Students live, I want you to go type in an answer. Students who aren't live, I want you to make sure you saw that happen in the video and that you gave an answer. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. So you watched one more video and saw how the tablecloth stayed put as, the tablecloth went and the plates stayed put because of the force gravity exerted on the plates was stronger than the force of the tablecloth being pulled out from under them. And that had something to do with the speed. We'll talk more about that when we talk about Newton's second law. It's a little preview. Now, I want to keep talking about practical applications for this first law. We're going to do that by looking at 2 different real-life scenarios. The first is playing a sport, soccer. We're going to look at what Newton's first law has to do with kicking a soccer ball. Now, you can't see my legs, so you can't really see me kick, which is fine because I'm not very good at soccer. But I hope some of you are. So imagine you have a soccer ball resting on the field, right? That's an example of what? I hope you just said inertia. That's an example of an object staying at rest until a force is put upon it. So we've got that soccer ball sitting on the field, and then we've got a soccer player who runs up and kicks the ball. Now that kick, the energy exerted from the leg from the leg to the ball is what? Now, I hope you said the word force. That is a force that causes the ball to do what? This time, I hope you said the word move. It causes motion. The ball will fly through the air or roll across the grass, depending on what happened. Now, those are 3 different pieces of Newton's first law. He explains basically why all of that happens. The ball rests on the field until an outside force is exerted upon it, and it moves. It goes into motion. Eventually, then, it will stop moving, either because it falls to the ground, and the earth stops its falling. The earth exerts a force against it, pushing up and stops it falling, or because the friction of the grass stops it from moving. That exerts a force. Now, that's the first time today I've said the word friction. And we're going to keep talking about friction in the rest of the lessons that we have together. But just to mention it for the first time, friction you can experience when you take your 2 hands and rub them together. If you do that, your hands are going to get hot, right? Rub them together. Feel that heat between your 2 hands. That heat is friction. 2 objects moving together. And the harder you push your hands, the harder it gets to move them. That too is friction. Friction is a force which causes energy, which is heat, and causes an object in motion to slow down and eventually stop. Friction. So the ball rolling across the field will eventually stop based on friction, an outside force that causes it to stop. That's why the ball won't roll forever. All right, I have a worksheet prepared for you. Not a video this time, but a picture and a couple of questions that I'm going to screen share with you, and I want you to go into and look at that worksheet and answer those questions. This shouldn't take you at home or now in the classroom more than 10 minutes. They're just 2 questions, shouldn't be very hard to answer. So, or if it is challenging, that's totally fine. Not a problem either. But we've talked about these things already. So if you find the 2 questions difficult to answer, go back in and look at some of those videos that we've talked about, that you've just watched, rewatch them, because we have talked about these principles. All right. Now, I'm going to go over to my computer and screen share with you so that you know where to find that worksheet. Then we're going to stop recording this video. After you finish the worksheet, come back for our very last video and the very last piece of this class today. All right, here we go. So I am sharing my screen back over to Google Classroom. Here you see Google Classroom and the soccer worksheet. I want you to push on that soccer worksheet. It's going to look a little differently for me than it looks for you because I'm in here as a teacher and not as a student. When you push on it, you should have a word that says open. You should see the word open up there. You're going to open it and you're going to fill out that soccer worksheet. And we'll see you back here in about 10 minutes once you've finished it up.